Hey everyone, welcome back to DIY Beauty on Purpose. All right, so here we are with this table. Take a look at it. It was on the side of the road. Someone threw it away. Another family member saw it and brought it to me, and I can't wait to show you what I did with it. All right, guys, so even though this table is in general good shape, is not quite my style. And to be honest with you, to paint everywhere inside both like the inner shelf and all those spindles, I was just not feeling it. And then when I saw how sturdy it was, I just wanted to do something with it. So the original plan was to, as you can see here, remove everything, which I did. I'm just going to remove all the screws, remove everything. And I wanted to keep the top shelf and the bottom shelf. But as you can tell, it was broken. And I didn't even know because it was secured with screws. So I could not use that bottom shelf or that bottom platform. But it's okay. I still have the top one, which is what I'm going to be working with. But I'm not going to throw away any of these parts because you know what? They could make some good DIYs. So I'm going to keep them. I'm just going to push them to the side right now. But I will keep the top of the table, and that's what I'll be working with.
Why don't we say that it's too late for us now? Why do we stay when I blame you for the things that weigh me down? 'Cause in the echo of your silence, I only hear what's best for me. Yeah, in the echo of your silence, I'm thinking more of.
So now that everything is removed, this is what I have left. Let me tell you, this top is heavy, is really solid. And yeah, I'm going to turn it into a like a extra large serving tray / wall decor. So the first thing I want to do is fill in these holes on the bottom. Now you won't be able to see these. These will be either against the wall if it's on the wall or underneath if it's in the on top of the table as a tray. However, I wanted to have a little bit more finished look, and so I just wanted to fill them in so that then I can sand and paint in a little bit.
She who wants to study your body, who gets the better version of you. I need the bitter truth. I need the better version of you. I need the better version of you.
All right, so I turned it over. The wood filler is not dry yet. I placed something underneath the table there, or the platform. I don't know what to call this. Let's call it platform. So that way the wood filler is not touching my table, my workbench. But so now I'm going to give the surface a good clean using crud cutter and just a good sanding using 220 grit sandpaper, and then I'll clean it again and remove all the dust. I am going to give it 2 coats of restonium chalk paint in the linen white. I gave the first coat using my chippy brush. However, for the second coat, I decided to move on to my chalk paint brush because I was starting to see way too many brush strokes, and I didn't like that. Not for such a big piece. If it was a smaller piece, I usually don't mind. For something so big, it's just like doing a piece of furniture. I just decided to, for the second coat, to use my chalk paint brush. But I just gave the 2 coats and then let it fully dry.
You talk about faith. Is it just some
All right, so once the two coats were dry, I am now going to distress it using my electric sander once again. And I actually kept that 220 grit sandpaper, so it's not distressing as fast, I guess, as I'm used to, because normally I would use like a maybe a if I wanted a heavier distress, like I do one on this one, like a 120, but it's what I had on the sander, so no big deal. I just sanded it for a little longer, and I'm not going to do too much of the center. I'm not really looking for a distressed look in the center, but I do want the edges and the sides to be nicely distressed. Alright guys, so before we move on to the continue with the DIY, I want to tell you about this challenge that my friend Casey from Coffee with My Sunshine hosts every single month. This month, I am going to be her co-host, and I'm so excited. It's using trash to create treasure. It's where you use items that you would normally throw away or put in the recycle bin and give it new life. The rules are basically that you would have to mention both of our channels, hers and mine, list both of our channels and the playlist in the description box, put the challenge name somewhere in your title, and then upload the video to the playlist on Friday, August 28th at 4:30 Eastern Time. And of course, have fun with your projects. So if you want to join us, I would love to see what you create. I do this every single month, and I'm so blessed and honored that she picked me as her co-host. So mark your calendars, film yourself, and hey, let's have fun creating some treasures out of trash. All right, guys, so here we are. I am using my Cricut design space to create what I'm going to use in the front of the serving tray. Now, this is what I started with. The original plan was to use this one, and then I changed my mind, and you'll see which one I picked. But I just wanted to show you kind of like the process. I basically just pick a design. This one I had already in my design space. I purchased it from Cricut Design Space, and then I cut it. I am using this blue vinyl, which I absolutely love. I do have it in my Amazon store, which is linked down below if you're interested. Actually, most of my supplies that I use, I do have in my Amazon store, linked down below. So I cut it, and then start weeding it. You know, the normal process would be to weed it. I'm going to use it as a stencil. I was considering doing it as a decal, so instead of using it as a stencil. However, I didn't have enough black vinyl, so I had to then do it as a stencil, which is fine. All right, so now that everything is dry on the opposite side as well as the wood filler, I am going to now sand the excess wood filler out I'm using a 120 grit sandpaper, and I'm just sanding it until it's nicely smooth. And then I am going to dust it, remove all the dust, and I'm going to give it 2 coats of the same paint, Restonium chalk paint in the linen white.
Now that I'm looking back, I can see all the signs I tried to fill in the cracks that were spread in my mind, but I was all out of hope, lost in an endless maze. The emptiness had unfolded just like a void, but you broke the coldness somehow and lit up a flame. And ooh, I was done feeling hopeless, screamed out loud because it felt impossible in my bones, like getting blood out of the stone on my own. But you came around and removed the thorn in my soul. You guided me out of the storm. I found home in your arms of gold, in your arms of gold.
Alright, so the paint is fully dry on the opposite side, and now that I still have it facing this way, I am going to add the claw tooth hooks to the back. I'm going to add 2 of them because this is a very heavy piece, and I want to make sure that it's not going to fall. So I am just going to secure it with screws, and then I'm going to add felt little pads on each of those little holes because the wood filler kind of dried up, a little sunk in. I'm okay with that. I'm going to be placing felt pads anyways on the back. That's so that when they place it on a tabletop, it does not scratch the table. And I'm actually going to double up on the felt pads because I want it to be higher than the claw hooks so that it does not scratch the table. Alright, so the back is all done. Now I am going to weed the stencil and get ready to start stenciling. I did also cut another stencil that said established in 1912. I just thought it needed a little bit something else. And you'll see the design that I picked eventually for it. I just like that it had that round look, and I thought it would look a lot nicer, and I actually love the way it turned out.
How did we end up here in the corner, looking like enemies? We used to be the team people talk about, what a chemistry. I can see it in your eyes. You don't wanna talk anymore. I wanna get so numb while we enemies. No, you don't mind the way I stutter my words. You know exactly what it means and how it hurts. Oh, I can't believe you're here. Can't get any worse. No, no. I just wanna get out of here. I find it so hard to breathe. 'Cause when you get too close, I lose my way and I freeze. I wish you knew what power you have over me, but now it's so hard to breathe. Just get me out of here. Just get me out of here. Just get me out of. How can you be so calm around me when I act desperately? You used to be the one getting crazy when I'd be hard to reach. I can see it in your eyes. You don't wanna talk.
Alright, so to stencil it, I am going to use a large stenciling sponge brush and a restonium chalk paint in the charcoal tone. And I'm just going to stencil it. I mean, I love this color because it has a very dark, almost black color, but it is gray. And I just really love the way it looks. And I think for this project, it turned out really cute. And then once you pull it, I love this part because it's so satisfying to watch. You'll see how cute I think everything is coming together.
I wanna get so numb while we enemies. No, you don't mind the way I stutter my words. You know exactly what it means and how it hurts. Oh, I can't believe you're here. Can't get any worse. No, no. I just wanna get out of here. I find it so hard to breathe. 'Cause when you get too close, I lose my way and I freeze. I wish you knew what power you have over me, but now it's so hard to breathe. Just get me out of here.
Alright, I let the paint fully dry from the stenciling, and now I'm going to give it 3 coats of very thin polyurethane in the crystal clear. This is so that if anything spills on it, you want to make sure this chalk paint is sealed. You don't want anything spilled. It is so matte that it will be just just stained and dingy, and it would just not look right. So I started using my brush, and then I moved on to my oh my gosh, my sponge applicator. And I did the other two coats with the sponge applicator. I should have just done the sponge applicator. I don't know why I grabbed my brush, but you can use either or, it's fine. And again, I have all these supplies in my Amazon store. Now, when I am sealing the darker color paint, I'm doing very fast, and I'm not trying to linger, trying to over brush on top of it, because it will reactivate the paint, and then I have had it where it does smear a little bit. So I'm trying to keep it very light and also very quick right on those darker tone wood area. All right, so now it's time to add handles. I bought couple of handles at the hardware store, and I'll have them linked down below. And I am using a technique that I recently learned, which I love, is you take some painter's tape and you put it on the back side of the handles. You poke where the handle little screw holes are, and then you use that as your template to screw in the holes, which is, I thought it was just brilliant. So now I'm just measuring, making sure both sides are on the same, or as close as possible on the same side on each side. And then I'm going to take my drill and pre-drill some holes, and then get ready to add the handles.
Shooting me with words, but I won't let them bruise. Even though it hurts, I won't show it to you, 'cause it will ricochet. I won't let it bite. I will look at you and tell you that I'm alright. Like a ricochet, it will come back to you. 'Cause I don't care about you anymore. So you can't hurt me like you did before. Let me tell you, not because my eyes are open, your words will keep bouncing away. And even if you're trying to hurt me, my skin's getting thicker each day. I don't know how you fall asleep at night, knowing that your words are hurtful, it's just not right. Not because my eyes are open, your words will keep bouncing away. Like a ricochet, like a ricochet, like a ricochet, like a ricochet.
So guys, we are about to be done here. Let me remind you what that table looked like. And this is what I turned it into. I am so pleased with how this turned out. It is such a heavy duty piece, and it looks stunning. It would look stunning on the wall, and I think using it then as a super large serving tray where you can put cheese and fruit and, oh my gosh, vegetables, I think it would be so cute, so cute. So guys, this is it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I love making transformations like these and using something that somebody literally threw away and now is a beautiful treasure, and I just love it. If you have not subscribed to my channel, I invite you to consider doing so. I have the link down below to subscribe if you're interested, or just hit the subscribe button and then hit that notification bell so you do not miss any of my videos. And if you are returning, thank you so much for coming back and watching. And guys, as always, I hope you have a blessed day.